Now that X-Men, or Dawn of X, has finally finished its first, what I call, phase. So I'm just covering the first 6 issues, basically, of the current comics for X-Men. So we're not talking about House of X or Power of X. We're going to talk about the titles that followed after it. So that includes Excalibur, Fallen Angel, New Mutants, X-Force, X-Men, and Marauders. And what we're doing today is just going to rank them, basically, because there's only 6. So you can guess the one that I'm not going to have for my top 5 on here. But this is more of a ranking list because there's only 6 of them. And we're just pretty much what I'm like to call it phase 1, because we have a lot more X-Men books coming out. So I'm going to start my list with Excalibur, and this one is, I think, more for fans of the older series of Excalibur, because I never read that, and picking this up, I like what, hopefully I'm saying your name right, I'm so sorry, Teeny, I think is the writer. I liked what she did in kind of catching the audience up, because I did start to get more into these characters as the story went on. I think there's great moments, especially with Apocalypse, but the thing is, I don't care about this group of mutants quite as much as all the other stories. I think what really hurts this, in my opinion, is the fact that it's not all that interesting for the characters, because I don't like Rogue, Gambit, characters like that. However, I think the art is pretty solid, and Apocalypse is a weird yet really interesting addition to this storyline, and I think older fans of the series seem to be eating it up, so that's great, but this to me is probably one of the weaker ones, and that's why it's going to go on number 5. Okay, so New Mutants is a really interesting one. It has 2 writers, which they go back and forth every issue, and I like both writers. Hickman and Breeson are great writers, so jumping into it, I was really excited, but I don't really know what I feel about this one. It kind of feels a little bit forced in terms of the fighting parts of the series. I really like the interactions with all the kids, and I think they're great together, but then they introduce these fight scenes, which kind of just feel tacked on because they have to have a fight scene in, X-Men comic. It just feels a little off. I'd rather them just have a bunch of issues of them just sitting around talking, because I think both Breeson and Hickman do it really well. New Mutants is kind of that 50-50 where some issues I like more than others, but overall it's a solid start. I just hope it improves as it goes on, but I still enjoy what I'm reading. It's just not one of the greats. My number 3 choice is X-Force, and now we're getting into a harder field of what to pick. And remember, this is my opinion, but I think X-Force is good. I do enjoy it. My problem with X-Force is I still don't like it as much as the old X-Force. I hate comparing that, but Kyle's and Rick Remender's run, X-Force were just so different than every other X-Men title, and here X-Force feels good, but it still feels kind of like X-Force light some ways. Not that it's not brutal, because it could be. It's just missing something. But I will say it has gotten better as it went on. The last 2 issues I really enjoyed, and I think that Benjamin, the writer, just has a really great rush feel to it. Like, everything feels like everything's happening so quick, and not in a bad pace way. It's just action, but it has a story. So I'm really enjoying X-Force. I think that I'll enjoy it more once it's done, once I get the full picture of what he's trying to paint here. It's not my favorite X-Men comic, but it is pretty good, and that's why it's right in the middle. Coming in number 2 is the X-Men, the main title line. Hickman is knocking it out of the park, and don't get confused that it's not number 1, and I'll tell you why I picked my number 1. But X-Men is great. The only real problem I have with X-Men is like each issue feels like a separate thing. They don't really connect all that much, and so one issue might not be as interesting as the other. And out of the first 6 issues, only 2 of them I didn't love. I thought they were good, just not great. But they have the other 4 issues, which I absolutely loved. My highlights being issue 5, and of course, I really loved issue 2. I know some people hated it. Those are my favorite. But anyway, what this does really well is build these characters up again. It gives me reason to care. And there's so many moments with Cyclops and with Xavier, and even with fucking Apocalypse and Magneto, that I am just like awed. The dialogue is great, and you feel like the X-Men have this power again, this I don't even know what to call it, like this uplifting from being treated like shit and always getting attacked by every other goddamn team in the world, and humans, Avengers. No, the X-Men are here, and they're saying, bitch, we're here to stay. So I like that. And my number one choice is Marauders. And I know some people are like, what, over X-Men? But X-Men is the main storyline. And don't get me wrong, I'm loving X-Men, but Marauders, man, every time I open an issue to this, it's pure joy. I think what I really love is the team. I love fucking, I'm sorry, I was gonna say Kitty, but she wants to go as Kate now. But I love her. She's always been one of my favorite mutants. And then you got Iceman, who's just, he's so cool in this. And you got Storm, who has so many great moments. This is really one of the best comics on the stand, in my opinion, in terms of pure fun. I think what really worked here too is that the storyline has these moving pieces that all come together at the very last 6 issue. And then issue 7 I have not read yet, but I heard it just continues to be just as fun. So that's the thing with Marauders. It's fun, pure fun. And I think that's the difference between the other titles here. Some of them feel like I'm waiting for something big to come all together, and I can't wait for that. But Marauders, every issue, I have a smile on my face. I'm loving the dialogue, I'm loving the action, and I'm loving Kate. She is just a badass lead. So yeah, Marauders is my surprise #1 Dawn of X title. Now, this is just phase 1. Things can change. I don't know if you guys want me to do this every phase, which I guess I can count as every 6 issues for each series. I think that it could be cool because I am keeping up with each series, and some I'm enjoying more than others. As you noted, I left off one that's the only one I didn't really enjoy, which is weird because I usually love the writer's work. But overall, these are my top 5. I think they're all worth checking out for everybody individually, but I would say the top 3 must be read because I think they're all really worth reading at one point or another. And I hope you guys enjoy it. I would love to see your order of what you're reading and enjoying the most for the Dawn of X titles. And if you want to see me do phase 2, I will certainly do that. And everybody, have a great day.